Testing. Okay. All right. Welcome back to another Tech Talk. I'm your host, Josh from KeepItTechie. And today I have another special guest in the building. You guys know how we get down over here. We try to bring in a whole bunch of people that have been working in the tech field and have the experience. And I want to showcase them as well as interview them and ask them questions about how they navigate the tech field and how they continue to grow in the tech field, to try to help you guys. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it's all about. Let me give a couple of shout outs. I see a couple of people coming through. I seen the Prophet of Thought series in here. What's good, man? Good to see you. Check out that brother's channel. He has a great channel. Lovely Angel Lady, good to see you. Andre Bond Sr., good to see you as well. But shout out to everybody that's in the cloud. Just go down, hit that like button, consider sharing the channel or whatever. We're trying to grow it so we can get more people, interested in tech or learning that they can get into the tech field. So that's what it's all about. That's what I'm here for, and that's what I'm gonna keep trying to do. But today's special guest is Patrick. I'm excited to have him on. He has a lot of experience in the IT field. He's been in the field for a number of years, working in different areas. And I'm This is gonna be a dope conversation because I've done a lot of DoD contracts, and I remember he was talking about contracting with different organizations. So I want to highlight that or touch on that a little later on as well throughout the interview. But what's up, Patrick? How you doing, man?
Doing good. How about you, my brother?
Doing good, hanging in there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So first thing I like to do is allow, my guests to introduce themselves. Go on and let everybody know who you are, Patrick, and what you do in the IT field.
All right. So yeah, Patrick Roserie. I'm out here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a security consultant. That's a good title to kind of give it, but I touch different areas. I do different things. Right now, I'm primarily doing contracting work, and it doesn't just span to just DoD. I do all kinds of contracting work. I'm on Uplift. I'm on Fiverr. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm doing, 1099 contracts, C2C contracts, all kinds of contracts, any which way I can get it. That's just, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope, man. And like I was saying, bro, I mean it's not that many of us doing that type of work, especially from what I've seen, like contracting, because I've done more DoD stuff. I know you say you do other stuff, but yeah, it's not that many of us in there, and you know, I'm excited to have this conversation about it, you know what I'm saying? So if you wanna let's see, how did you get into the tech field, or what got you interested into the tech field?
All right. So, I've been interested in tech for a real long time. Since I was younger, my parents would say, because I had a computer in my room when I was younger, like 2, 3 years old. They say I just bang on the computer all day, every day. I guess it kind of, helped. And then as I started getting older, started doing much more crazy stuff. I'm just always on a computer. Uh, this is back in the day when there was LimeWire and Napster and all that other stuff. So
Oh
you never
yeah.
download it. So it's like, oh, okay, let me go download this music. Damn, got another virus. I got to go get it fixed before the parents come home. So it's been in my blood, just naturally breaking stuff, fixing it right back. Um, how I got into tech, that's the funny part because it was always rough for me getting my foot in the door. I didn't know how to get my foot in the door. Prior to tech, I was a security guard, sitting on post, 12-hour shifts, boring stuff. And then one day I was on post and I was just like, let me talk to one of these IT guys. And I'm like, hey, brother, how'd you get in? Um, and he told me he went through, it was a nonprofit organization at the time. I was about 20, 21 in New York. In New York, there's like plenty of opportunities. But he told me about the program. It was called Empower, and they take people between the ages of 18 and 24, and they train you up, and then they send you out on an internship. So I'm like, oh, this sounds pretty dope. So I went, I did it, I did my internship, and then I still didn't have a job at the end of it. So yeah, I know it's crazy. So I went out, still applying, still doing my security work, and then something just said, "Let me go back to school." So I went for 2 years, got my associate's degree, um, and then I was still applying, still applying, still applying. But at the same time, I'm always sharpening up my skills. So I told you I went through nonprofit organization. By that they don't make anything for profit. So I was like, hey, do you guys have any opportunities to, I don't know, do work for people, So they had a lot of clients, so I just go do free work. So I'm out there, I'm sharpening my skills, fixing computers, setting up networks, doing all kinds of, crazy stuff while working and while going to school. So I just tried to always keep myself sharp. Um, as I was going through school, towards the end, I started getting a lot of interviews. And it was this one job I was heard about the most, mostly because I could have got it, but it was because I was in school, I didn't get it. They just needed somebody for a specific time commitment, and I couldn't
Okay.
fill that time commitment. But this was when they were doing interviews and asking some of the silliest questions. I don't know if you've ever seen Google questions. Um, how big would somebody be if they shrunk to this size? Or, it was the
Yeah.
dumbest I've ever seen in my life. But I somehow made it through, and, they liked me, but they couldn't take me on. So in the end, I went with another company. It was Bank of America. And this was during the time that the big Windows XP to Windows 7 migrations happened.
Okay.
So that's what I was doing. I was upgrading PCs for Bank of America. I was going all over the place. I was in the Northeast. They had me in Arizona for training. It was fun. It was nice, but it wasn't what I wanted to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I always had the idea of I'm going to get into networking, and then I'm going to, go into security after, learn the networks, understand the networks, and then get into security, secure the networks and everything else. So I got my CCNA, um, and that was probably the biggest waste of my time because nobody took me on for a network admin role. I was kind of hurt about that too.
Yeah, and that's one of the, I don't know, that's one of the things. A lot of people that hop into networking or want to get into networking, they assume by just going to get that CCNA, they're gonna get a job right away. You
Mhm.
know, it's
I,
not the case all the time.
yeah, I was in for a rude awakening. I went through a lot of that, I've been in tech for 7, 8 years. I get a lot of yeses, no, but in the beginning, I got so many no's, it wasn't even funny. But you got to stay persistent with it. You got to keep at it. You got to keep interviewing. You got to keep trying. Just don't give up. And that's one thing I told myself for sure I wasn't going to give up. So now I'm with Bank of America. I My job is okay. Still don't want to do it. And then the same training program I told you about, Empower, they had another opportunity, but this one was more security focused. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me go back. Let me do this. So I left that job with Bank of America. I scrapped it entirely, and I put all my eggs in this basket. It was about 3 or 4 months. I ended up getting my Network Plus, Linux Plus, and Security Plus certifications. And then again,
Ah,
at the end of it, you get an internship. This time, my internship was with the New York Times, and I wasn't going to let that one go. I wasn't
oh
going to let it.
yeah.
Uh, Day one in, I'm just like, oh, okay. Is there any chance that we can get a full time role? And they're like, oh, we'll see. It's not really in the budget. Now, when a job tells you it's not really in the budget, that doesn't mean they can't take you on. It just means they need to find a reason to put it in the budget. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I did. I did my very best, and they found that money before that 3 months. They found it a month later, actually. So at the
Wow.
end of the trip, I was taken on for a full time role as an information security analyst. And I mean, that's where it all started from. I was doing vulnerability reports, phishing campaigns. I was, deobfuscating JavaScript. This is around the time ransomware became big,
Mm-hmm.
so I was a part of that. And this is the New York Times. They got all these reporters. They got all these people out on the field. They got their contacts. So it was actually a pretty big deal for me.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And it's good to hear, a lot of people um are still able to get, internships. You know what I'm saying? And I hear other people say this, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying there's nobody out there getting it. It's a lot of people are actually getting internships, and that's helping them get into roles that they want to get into. You know what I'm saying? It's always an option for you. If you can't get hired on full time, look into internships, and that's definitely a benefit to actually help you get in. But you touched on a lot of things doing there that I wanted to well, one of them I wanted to hit on was I know you was talking about constantly learning and constantly training, you know what I'm saying, your throughout your time trying to get into the field. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see if you could touch on that a little more, if you can, just constantly learning.
So one of the big things that I did where well, it was big for me. I had a laptop, everybody knows Windows. I mean, we all grow up
Hmm.
with Windows. Who doesn't know Windows? But
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Linux seems like it's going to be a big thing. So this is something I really need to learn. What am I going to do? I was like, you know what? I got my USB right here. The instructions are online how to, burn an image to a USB. I wipe my computer, I install Linux, and I forced myself to stick with it for a whole year. Well, longer than a year. I actually fell in love with it. I went through multiple distros in that year. There was Ubuntu. I did a little bit of Fedora. I touched on some CentOS, but I forced myself to learn Linux at that point, which was probably one of the better things that I could do for my career. When I told you that job that almost took me on, it was to be a Linux admin
Wow.
for it was the company was a UK based company, but either way, that was still a big thing. I'd never had any formal Linux experience. I never did it in a production environment, but this company was willing to take me on as a Linux admin, which was, it's you don't have to do any formal training. You could do some stuff to change some stuff in your life, and that's all the training that you need. So there was that. I forced myself to learn Linux. Well, also to touch on, I still learn to this very day. I'm still learning new stuff.
Yeah.
The learning never stops. It's ongoing. It's constant. Technology is going to keep changing. We got Kubernetes. We got containers. We got the cloud. We got all kinds of stuff. Still learning to this very day.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I mean, when you get into this field, that's something you definitely have to, I don't know, kind of change your mindset, or change, you know, your time management. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, you can't be on Netflix all day. You know what I'm saying? You got to get in there and train, bro. Because like you said, the technology is always changing. Something new is coming out. But man, I'm super excited. And I don't know if you see me smart. Well, you can't see me because my camera is running through OBS. But I was over here smiling when you was bringing up Linux, because that's what my channel is all about. That's one of the things that I don't know. I fell in love with Linux, just playing around with it and learning how to actually use it. So I'm excited. You were talking about that, but you said
Yeah.
certifications, and I know I'm going all over the place, and that's why I told you those questions. I kind of use them as a guide. That's just
Hmm.
something I kind of, in case I forget, because I got a bad memory, what I want to ask you. So Linux though. I mean, no certifications. What type of
Hmm.
certifications do you have other than CCNA and Linux Plus? Like you said, I think that's what you said.
Uh, so through my entire uh, through my entire career, I had a lot of certifications. I have my A plus, Network plus, Linux plus, Security plus. All of those expired. I let them expire, except the Linux plus. The Linux plus I got in when it was what is it, like 6 or 7 years ago? Contia, the certs didn't expire. They changed that over time where they expire every 3 years. I
Yeah.
was this close to getting my Security plus before it didn't expire, but I didn't get it in time.
Mhm.
So those I had, those expired. The CCNA expired. I have my CISSP right now and my AWS Solutions Architect Associate cert, and I'm studying for the CKA right now, which is a Certified Kubernetes Administrator.
Okay. That's dope right there, man. Because Kubernetes is definitely something people need to get into. I try to talk about it on my channel as much as I can, and contain understanding Docker, um, and a couple other applications that they starting to use in the industry. So um, that's dope. Now, do you recommend people kind of follow that same route, like if they trying to get into it, as far as certifications go? Like because I've been in conversations where people say, oh, don't even worry about um getting comp tier certifications. Just go straight for like IC Square, the one you just, I think that's one of the ones you said, or yeah, CCSP, or I'm sorry, I don't know all those certs. Ex-
Nah, that's not a
what
problem.
what are your
there's
thoughts?
there's an ongoing debate with that on Twitter like every other week. And if I had to put, something that you want to do, if you want to get into government contracting, first and foremost, the Security Plus is a bare minimum that they would be looking for.
Yep.
So if you want to do government contracting, just right there, stop Security Plus, and then you kind of go from there. Uh, the CISSP is looked at as a much more experienced cert. But again, like I said, watching these debates on Twitter, some people will say some job descriptions actually put it as entry level, and it's like, no, it's not entry level. That's actually that was a very difficult test to take.
Yeah.
And I, my CCNA, it was the easiest thing I've ever took. The CISSP was like one of the hardest tests I've ever took.
Wow.
It was nothing to play with. You need to be very experienced to actually, kind of take the test and pass it and, get a good score. Um, if you want to get into cloud stuff, just get. Sorry, let me go back.
All right.
You want to get certs? There's nothing wrong with that, but get one cert or get two certs and then stop there. If you want to continue getting certs, have the company that you're working with pay for your further education, because these companies will pay for your certs. Only test I've ever paid for was my CCNA. Everything else that the company's paid for. And I named about 8 or 9 certs, and I haven't paid for any of them. The CKA, I got a company that's going to pay for that. I'm going to take a SANS class next year. I don't know if you're familiar with the SANS Institute or
Oh
anything.
yeah. Hey, what, $8,000?
Yeah, I've taken 3 so far, and the company's paid for it each time. I already got my eyes on one that I'm taking next year, and got my company that's going to pay for it. So if certs are something that you're looking for, find a company that's willing to pay you to take those certs and have them pay for it. But as far as advancing your career, there's nothing better than just kind of like getting your hands dirty and getting into it. If you want to learn something new, the information's out there. Um, if I could take a step back real quick, I just want to point out one thing. I gave you some links to, kind of put on the description. One of them is to
Hmm.
my GitHub page. I had a lot of people in my Twitter DMs recently saying, I'm trying to learn the cloud. I'm trying to learn AWS. I, I passed this test. It's like, what next to get some, real world experience? And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm drafting something up right now, some personal projects that you could do at home to get yourself some enterprise level experience. The tools are out there. The tools are more or less free. It's just how are you going to use it to do what you need to do? So that's some things that I want to do to kind of bring visibility uh, to getting your hands dirty, getting your hands into the stuff. And you don't have to just do it for cloud stuff. You could use it for any real purpose. But I'm targeting cloud because that's what I do now. I do a lot of cloud stuff, cloud automation, Terraform, and stuff like that. But maybe I'll do another one for regular security after that. I got to see.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And for you guys, he posted well, he sent me his GitHub link. I just put it in the chat for you guys as well, but it's in the description of the video. So if you guys want to check out his links, his Twitter, ask some questions, hit him up for whatever. I'm sure he will, try to help you as best he can with the time that he has, because I know how it be, man. I got a wife, kids, and all that stuff running around the house, and um, time is very precious. So when I give it away, you know what I'm saying? I'm giving it away to try to help you as much as I can. So if I miss people, you know, just keep hitting me up if you got questions, and I'm sure he'll help you the same way, depending on his time. So
Yeah, I'm still catching up to all my messages from that the one that the space that you
yeah.
were on, and I was like, dang, okay, this is what it's
Yeah.
like in the social light.
Yeah, well, that was my first time ever seeing something like that. This whole Twitter Spaces thing is new to me just as much as you. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know this was a thing until I seen, because I followed I can't think of her name. Kanika, is it Kanika? Yeah,
Nika?
I follow her, and it just popped up this big blue, box on the screen. I'm like, what is this? Let me click on here, and I start hearing all these people talking about, tech and how to get into tech, and these people are trying to help you, and it was like almost what 2,000 people. So I was like, man, let me hop in here and see if I can actually add to the conversation, and that was dope, man. So if you're not on Black Tech Twitter, you know what I'm saying, you try and get into the tech field, it's a great resource to meet people. And that was something, this rolls right into another question I want to ask you. Networking. And I'm not talking about, computer networking. I'm talking about people networking. What are your thoughts on that? And just give your thoughts on it. Because they didn't heard mine.
I mean, it's good to network. It's good to get to know people. Never burn any bridges. I mean, unless you really want to burn that bridge, but don't burn bridges because you're always gonna come back to people. Uh, I have never burned a bridge before in my entire career. I've left jobs. I've had conversations with them like, hey, not really happy here. When I left the New York Times, I told them ahead of time. I was like, look, I'm not really happy here in New York. I'm looking for something bigger and better. I'm gonna, move to Atlanta. I'm gonna start looking for, positions out there. And they're like, all right, it sounds like you have your mind made up. We'll work with you. I'm not saying every company would do that because I know every company wouldn't do that, but try not to burn those bridges. I'm very well connected with, everybody that I met in the past, but as far as social media came, I haven't gotten on social media until this year, May of this year. I haven't been afraid. It was more just I had that old security mindset, where the older tech folks would be like, "Oh, social media? No, you putting yourself out there, this, that, and the third. Your information is going to be out there one way or another. It's how much control over your information you want. So if you're thinking like, no, I'm not going to get out there, I'm not going to put myself out there, I'm not going to network, somebody could do it for you
Mhm.
as you. Is that what you want? So, just kind of like put yourself out there. That's my opinion on that. And I've met tons of people on Twitter, and I'm just like, man, this is incredible seeing everybody do good. I love seeing us do good.
Yeah.
But that's my thoughts on it. Get out there, network, meet as many people as you can. Get on Twitter, follow Black Tech Twitter. Um, I don't have any other social platforms. I'm not on
Yeah.
Facebook. I'm not on. Well, I am on Instagram. My wife wants me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. But other than that, nah. Get out there, network, get to know people. You'll be surprised what you can find or what you can get from people.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I 100% agree. And let me go down and give a couple more shout outs. I see a couple more people rolling in. Femi, Low Spec, Linux Laptop, Lawrence, Retano, Alpha Banks, good to see you. Um, Andre Bonds, yeah, Alpha Banks. O'Shea Linux, what's up, man? How you doing, bro? Um, Keltec, what's up, man? How you doing, bro? Yeah, definitely don't burn those bridges. He's agreeing with you. Yeah, Keltec is another creator here on YouTube. So definitely check out his channel. I think I shared something of his not that long ago, but he has a YouTube channel helping people, get into the tech field. And I know he talks about, help desk and all that stuff. Check him out. I think he just did a giveaway today. So it's great guy, bro. He's always trying to help people. Um
Well, real quick, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
Actually you creators because it is not easy being a content creator. I had an interview one time with a cloud guru, and it was just talking about security, talking about videos, cloud, and stuff. Stuff that I do right now. So I was like, all right, let me try it. So the interview process was to make a 1 hour video talking about a particular topic. Man, I set the camera up in like 10, 20 different places. My lighting was off. I didn't like the way the video was. The teleprompter was going too fast. That wasn't for me. But shout out to you guys. You are awesome for everything that you do. I wanted to give you that shout out.
Oh, appreciate it, man. And if you guys are just joining, this is Patrick. You know what I'm saying? He runs a consulting firm, Roserie. That's right now.
Oh yeah, Roserie Consulting.
Yeah, Roserie Consulting. So make sure you check him out. I got all his links down in the description. He's been in cybersecurity. He does cybersecurity consulting. So Definitely a great guy. So, like I said, his links are in the description. Twitter, his GitHub with some training links in there and all that stuff. Training documents that can help you do some training in the cloud and all that stuff. But excellent guy, you know what I'm saying. And shout out to Super Triz. I see you in the building, man. Good to see you, bro. I definitely, it's always good to see you, bro. Um, Now it was another question. And this is something um, dealing with the different industries. So tech companies, finance, government, working in these different industries, what's the difference? Especially working, I guess, cybersecurity and tech in general. What's the difference?
So going back, I hear a lot of people say, how do I get in tech? How do I get in tech? How do I get in tech? First, you got to find out what area of tech do you want to be in, because all three of those are very different. I've done government work, I've done finance, I've done fintech, and I've done regular tech, and the environment, the culture, everything is very different. If you're looking for if you're looking to get into the latest, greatest technology, fast pacing, always moving, definitely go for tech, because they're always going to have the newest toys. Google built Kubernetes. It's like they released it to the world, and tech was quick to grab it up and eat it up. If you were in finance or government work, they're going to look at it like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to sit here and run all these VMs and have all this stuff going, pay for all this already. We're not even going to go that route. Tech has a ridiculous R&D budget. They're moving extremely quickly, and if you want to learn as much as you can as quick as you can, then I'd say go for that. The very I had the most learning experience when I was with VMware, because everything new that came out, they told me, "Hey, we want to know how to do this. We want to learn about this. Could you go do that?" So more than that, they paid for my training for me to go learn about all these new technologies and everything. Um, if you're looking for a slower pace, not critically behind the times, you're about process, fintech, finance, that's your place to be, because that's what they're all about. They're all about, do we need this? Let's go have a meeting about this. Let's go understand. Let's bring a consultant in. Let's talk to him real quick and just to confirm. Oh, okay. You know what? We'll get your hands dirty. We'll give you, this much budget, set it to the side. That's finance. They'll they'll catch up on the times, but they're not as fast as tech. And then there's the government, which is a lot of people like to say they're in the Stone Ages, but they're catching up.
Yeah.
They're hiring right now for crazy. I don't know if you've seen the other day, DHS was looking for engineers in like the $200,000-300,000 range, and I was like, whoa, that's a
Wow.
ridiculous budget. But they're catching up heavily right now. The government's looking for people that know Kubernetes. They're looking for people that know the cloud. So if you were in tech 2-3 years ago and you already have that skill set and you want to come and you want to grow into something bigger, then you can come over to the government. But that's just kind of how I see each of the different industries. It's tech moving extremely fast, finance, fintech, they're behind, but they're not that far behind, and the government is playing catch up.
Yeah, 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 and the government's trying to play catch up because all these cyber attacks that's happening, man. But because they've been behind. Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. It looks like, I mean, they just what was that? They just upgraded to Windows 10, I think, not that long ago. Well, at least in certain areas I've seen in the military, they were still using Windows 7. So for a
I,
while.
I'm pretty sure it took them a very long time to get
Oh
off
yeah.
X.
Yeah, they waited till the last minute, man. In a lot of cases, man. But nah, man, great information, great information. Now let me see. It was something you brought up that I didn't lost it now. um so contracting versus W2. Which do you favor?
I don't see much debate on that one. For me, I got into contracting. Well, my end goal was to always kind of contract. After I retire, I'm gonna have my contracting. I decided to start it early because why not get my feet wet now? Get into it, and then by the time I retire, I just take on light contracts whenever I need to, but not because I have to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, But I mean, I created my LLC and I dump everything there. It has its benefits. I use it to reduce my taxable income. Um, there's nothing wrong with W-2, but you pay more taxes as an individual than you do as a business. So that was my kind of play on it for going that route. And there's nothing stopping you from having a W-2 and an LLC. You can still have a 9 to 5 and have a business. I know a lot of people
Yep.
don't do that, but it's still very possible.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. You can do both, which I'm in the process of setting up for myself, you know what I'm saying, for this channel, because I didn't think this whole thing was going to actually go anywhere. I just thought I was just going to be creating videos, just showing people things that I'm learning, because that's where it started, like what you brought up earlier, about constantly training, constantly learning new things. I found out about Linux and I was interested in learning it, and I said, well, let me just kind of document what I'm doing to learn this. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And when I would learn a new command or something, or I understand a new command or the compass, or I end up using it for a purpose, then I'll be like, well, let me make a video on what I looking at the man page and how I um just figured out what options to use when I was running the command, and just show people how to actually use it based on, my knowledge or based on what I learned. So that's how it all started, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
uh
everybody learns in different ways.
yeah,
Uh, Doing the videos, you're helping people out. Some people just, you need that, but I don't see anything wrong with that at all. And I appreciate you for doing that.
for sure, for sure. Now I seen in your name uh Emacs. Do you use Emacs?
Email.
is
Oh,
that is that what that means?
nah, my Twitter handle, the full thing is never used Emacs. I never used it.
Oh, you never use Emacs. Okay.
There's a debate. Use Emacs, use Vim. Nah, I'm a Vim guy. So,
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. And that's what I was wondering. I was cuz I knew what that meant. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I'm not sure if he uses it, he doing a play on words as in never use Emacs, but I actually do, you know what I'm saying? Or, I'm a Vim guy.
yeah, I picked that side. I picked that side a long time ago. I was like, oh, this seems easy. I'm gonna go with this.
Okay. And see, and that's one thing I need to actually get better at. I don't use Vim at all. I know about all the shortcuts. I know about all the different things. I know that might sound weird, but I use Nano pretty much for everything. I never had an issue using Nano. And I don't know.
See,
I know it's certain things that are faster, but just never use it.
nah, for me, well, so what took me away from running standard Linux? Like I said, I went through every distro. I used Arch Linux for the first time. Now, Vim comes standard on like just about everything. I used it,
Yeah.
it just comes standard. But after Arch Linux, I was like, oh, this broke me. I can't do this anymore. I need me a Mac.
Hey, and that's what I use now, man. Orch is like my favorite distro, man. You see the memes all the time. By the way, I use Orch.
That broke me. I think I ran an update one time, but I didn't know the update process, and something about it broke, and like my whole computer just kind of like crashed. Tried to start it back up. I'm like, yo, what is going on? You know what? I ain't doing this no more. I put that computer aside, man. I bought a Mac the next day.
Yeah.
But I try to understand the commands before you run it. That's the best I could say because
hmm
I didn't do that research.
Okay. Yeah. That was one thing I did. Like what I did with Orch, the way I guess I kind of migrated to it, and that's why what I tell people to do is to use one of those Orch based distributions like Manjaro, or that way you kind of contain to their repository, and you don't end up installing something that'll break it. I mean, you can still do it on those because those are rolling releases, but it's less likely for you to break something unless you're just going through the AUR and just installing every all the packages on there, and dependencies. But yeah.
And I mean, well, something that could have been part of it because the computer I had NVIDIA. What do you call it? NVIDIA.
Oh,
And
Nvidia. Yeah.
And even on Ubuntu, just running the upgrade and upgrading those packages will break my install. And I'm like, yo, what the hell? Until I found out that it's actually trash for Linux. So
Yeah,
that could have been on me. Like I said, I just had to do my research better.
yeah,
But
I got you.
it was a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and shout out to Femi. He says Vim for life. Yeah, I gotta get on it, man. I gotta learn it. You know what I'm saying? Um, I gotta learn Vim. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and sorry about that. You didn't hear me, but I had muted. What I've been doing is muting myself over here because um when I talk over there, it cuts your voice off. So don't worry about it. That's what I've been doing though. So don't worry about it. I've been taking care of it. But that's why you didn't hear what I just said. I said shout out to Femi. He said Vim for life.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So but let's see the next thing. Oh, so degrees. Do you well let me step back a little bit and ask you, do you think what route do you think people should take, especially in this day and age? Because I know things are changing on how people get into the tech field. And I'm not sure how old you are, but I know when I started, you know, parents and pretty much everybody was like, hey, you need to go get a college degree. You need to go get a college degree. Um, but is that actually the case nowadays for this younger generation that's coming up? How would you direct them or guide them to get into the field the best way?
So let me start off with this is this is me even till this day having, kind of current interviews and talking about certifications and stuff like this. So again, I'm about 7 years into cybersecurity, about 10 years in tech, 10, 11, a little bit more probably in tech. People shit on my certs. I have a CISSP, and people will look at me and say, that just proves you could take a test. CISSP doesn't mean not a goddamn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, damn, I work hard for this. So I don't know what it is. People will still shit on you regardless of if you have certs or a degree. My personal opinion, I'm still gonna send my kids to college because just give them opportunity. Something that I didn't have. Like I said, I got my associate's degree. I was in New York. I took the train to my freaking school and back. I want them to be, Grownish style. I don't know if you watch Grownish.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
I have that experience, something more than what I had. So I'm not against school entirely. It's ridiculously expensive. Um, it's not necessary, but I'm still gonna give them an experience and a life that I didn't have if they want that option. Certifications, I still, again, till this day, study for and take certification tests. Not because I have to. I mean, one, because if I don't take the opportunity to spend this company's money, who else is? Like they're giving me the money to train and take these certification tests. I'm gonna train and take the certification test.
Exactly.
So I mean, I'm not against either. I would say play it smart. Companies will pay for you to go to college. Companies will pay for you to take a certification test. You don't have to do it yourself. You don't have to pay for it for yourself. But get your foot in the door and then have the company do the rest for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was something I wanted to touch on earlier. You was bringing that up. Um, that's definitely something you can look into doing when it comes to working for these different companies. A lot of them provide training to help you, and you've said that multiple times on the stream. You know what I'm saying? And then even contract positions, some of them you can kind of get that written into the contract. Well, you guys will provide some type of training, or um, I'm not that great at this. If you guys want me to learn it, you know what I'm saying? Some of them will write that into the training, especially if they see you as a good person. They really want to hire you. Um, negotiate negotiate your contract. You know what I'm saying? Don't just accept what they give you. Not saying if it has all that in there, then obviously take it. But if it doesn't, then see if they can add that to it. You know what I'm saying? Don't just sign and say, "Oh yeah, I come work for y'all," without taking on the benefits that they probably have that they don't bring up.
And I mean, That's one of the questions I always ask on the interview. What kind of training opportunities are there that could provide to help further my advancement as a professional? And they'll tell you right then and there, and you can kind of make that decision. I think one time I saw on Twitter, some guy said the company was willing to pay for his training, but then that would kind of like be like, oh, okay, if you leave within a year, you got to pay that back. I never heard of a company doing that, but if a company does that, well, make sure you ask during the interview if there's any contingencies in it, and then you can kind of make that decision from there. But again, I have not paid for a training program or anything in the last 7 years, and I don't look to pay for it myself anytime soon.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree, man. Now there is a question in the chat, and from Don. Thank you for the super chat. I definitely appreciate it. And let me say this spiel as well, right fast. Anytime someone donates to the channel, it goes right back into the channel. I try to make sure I say that in every video. Anytime someone donates, uh, I don't need the money. I'm working in the field, doing these types of jobs that we're talking about. And so this money, all it is helping me and going right back into the business itself of YouTube. So I definitely appreciate you guys doing that. But he asks, for someone getting into the field, what type of hardware should we be purchasing? Maybe that's a video in its itself. I don't know.
You said what kind of courseware?
What kind of hardware?
Hardware. Oh,
Yeah.
well, what kind of what are you looking at? That all depends. I mean, if you're
Hmm.
I have a friend that he does HR stuff, but he runs spreadsheets all day, and I promise you, he can't have an 8 gig computer running Windows doing them spreadsheets. I mean, nothing supports Mac and Linux. It's all going to be supported Windows, but he needs 32 gigs of RAM and a i9 processor just to get his job done. For me, I have my Mac. I have a what is it? A M1 Mac. I was looking to get one of the new ones, but I was like, no, I'll stick with this. It's one of the M1s with 16 gigs of RAM. Is it needed? Probably not. I do a little bit of programming, but you know, um, it all depends on what you're trying to do. I wouldn't say go for the biggest, baddest computer because it's not always necessary. But uh, hit me up on Twitter and we could talk.
Yeah, and if I get add to it as well, it like he said, it all depends on what you're doing. Like if you're trying to get into, I don't know, server administration or something like that, you can set up virtual machines. You know what I'm saying? You can go on Google, GPC, I mean GCP or whatever, Google Cloud Platform. Spin up a virtual machine up there. It costs you maybe $1 a month, not even $1 a month, in most cases. And when you first sign up for it, well, that's all these cloud platforms, Azure, and I said Google, but Azure is probably where you want to go try out the Microsoft stuff. But yeah, less than $1 a month, you can use their hardware to do some training if you're trying to understand how to manage, I don't know, Active Directory. You can set up your own Active Directory up there and just create some accounts and delete accounts, set up group policies, all that stuff in the cloud using your accounts. So you don't, it all depends on what you're trying to do. So, because you don't have to go buy a whole bunch of hardware nowadays. You can get a $500 laptop and run VirtualBox and learn Linux that way. That's that's how I tell people to do it. If you want to learn Linux and use your Windows operating system for whatever you need, but you could spin up a virtual machine and learn Linux if you want to, or whatever else you're trying to learn. You know.
And yeah, well, that's also what I'm doing with the GitHub I sent you. Cloud Home
Hmm.
Lab you do at home. There's a Amazon has a whole free tier of stuff that you could do. You could spin that same instance up in Amazon. It's free. I'm not trying to promote
Yep.
anything, for instance, with Amazon, but yeah, no, you could have. I have one, two, three, four servers running up in Amazon that I'm not paying for. I have about two, three websites not paying for anything. I have some scripts running doing automated tasks, not paying for anything. It's about kind of reading, understanding the documentation, and like, oh, okay, that's the gotcha, and setting up the right budgeting and stuff like that, which is the GitHub wasn't meant to get that in depth into it, but I think I might add stuff like that, like setting up the budget, setting up your alerts, so you know
Hmm.
when to shut that instance off and stuff like that.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. And shout out to Conspiracy University. Shout out to you, bro. I definitely appreciate the $5 super chat. I definitely appreciate it. Now, Alpha Banksy says, to be honest, these days I will focus on nested virtualization for doing home labs. I would start with an i7, at least 64 gigs of RAM. Windows VMs will consume more resources than Linux systems. Yes, that's 100% correct. Um, a lot of times those Windows servers, virtual machines, they very heavy on the resources. So,
I don't know if you do. I mean, if you have supported hardware, you can run ESXi for free.
oh yeah, you can. Yep.
And yeah, I used to work for VMware, so I used to get all those benefits. But no, I have a ESXi instance running right now with a few stuff that I'm gonna look to move to the cloud and eventually shut that off. But yeah,
Yep. Yep. And I always talk about my server or whatever that I have. Well, see, I spent the money on it, but like I just went on and spent the money from Dell, but I'm running Proxmox on it, and I have about 20 virtual machines on there, and really, um, I did it because I do a lot of videos as well, and it was hard to run VirtualBox on my machine and record videos through OBS. So that was, my issue or my reason for purchasing more hardware. So it all depends on what you need. That's basically or what you're trying to do or what you're trying to learn. So that's why I went back to that. But
I mean, real quick, if you're on a tight budget, something that I did, I got 5 Raspberry Pis, and that's my Kubernetes cluster. You could run a
oh yeah.
Kubernetes cluster off Raspberry Pis.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. That's true. That's true. Check that out as well. And thank you, Conspiracy University, man. I definitely appreciate it. Sign up for the membership. I definitely appreciate it. Let me see if anybody else had anything. Yeah. And you're right. That's what I forgot to say. Helmet. Chili Gaming. He said I remember. GCP gave me 90 days without a billing. Yeah, they give you a certain amount. I think they gave me like what was it, $200 you could spend for that first 90 or $300 for the first no, might have been $100 for the first 90 days. Um to run whatever you want, and then you have to obviously have to pay for it after that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the opportunities are out there.
Hmm.
They're out there.
Yep. And so Google Meets has changed the script on me, bro. And and like they used to let me go as long as I wanted to. So I guess they have this Google Workspaces individual. Yeah, you got to upgrade or whatever. I wonder if they cost. Cuz I done went almost 2 hours just on Google Meets. That's why I was using this because um Zoom, well, I don't know if Zoom has a time limit, but I know a lot of them have time limits or stream yours, and I ain't want to pay for that, man. I'm always trying to be cheap, bro. So
People likes to flip the switch as the script on you a lot. I
yeah,
started veering away from Google for certain stuff.
yeah. So I'm gonna have to cut this one a little short. I mean, we kind of hit most of the questions I wanted to ask you, and I definitely want to try to bring you on again. I want to do like I was thinking about doing a panel because it's a lot like you were saying earlier. A lot of people you can meet on Twitter. I met you. I've met like so many people on Twitter that work in the IT field, and so I was looking at doing a panel later on, probably at the beginning of this year or next like the first quarter. Let me say that, and just so us tech guys could come on here and we could just talk tech or whatever, and probably start it off and do it as a, I don't know, a weekly thing or a monthly thing if it comes down to it, whatever. Um, but I can't let you go without asking you this question. Maddox always remembers this. What's your battle station? I know you said you got a Mac, but what's your battle station, man?
Man, let me see if I guess I can show you. Ah, well, first let me show you the little lab. I got it over here. How do I rotate my camera?
Okay.
This the lab right here. I got a few Ubiquity gears in here. I got my UDM Pro. I got a switch. I got my Kubernetes cluster. I got some Synology stuff in here. That's the lab,
Oh, that's dope. I just got a Synology, man. Drive.
and that's the battle station over there.
Okay.
I
That's
had to get
cool.
a standing desk. I'm selling this other one. Don't mind this. A little mess. I wasn't prepared for this.
Oh yeah, it's all good. Yeah, the
Yeah.
standing desks are cool, man. I need to get one of those as well. Um, it's it's I don't know, it's good to actually stand up and work. Because like I do it at my office as well. So when I go into the office, but at the house, I'll be being lazy.
Oh, real quick, another benefit of COVID. A lot of these companies will give you money towards your office.
Yeah,
So that I only put a few $100s towards that, but company paid for most of it.
yeah, yeah. They will definitely, and I know that for a fact. Um, uh, Butter boy, what's up, man? Good to see you, and Christina, good to see you as well. Oh, that must be. Is that your wife?
My wife, damn.
Okay, all right. Yeah, yeah, that was my wife earlier in here. Lovely angel lady at the beginning. But yeah. So, I definitely appreciate you coming on. I wanted to ask a couple more questions, but I know this thing gonna kick us off. So, um, I go down and I'm gonna have to upgrade this thing for the next interview. But like I said, I'm gonna try to bring it back on. I definitely appreciate you coming through for this, and shout out to everybody for coming through. And I'm gonna hit you back on. Well, I'm gonna try to contact you back on here in a couple minutes because I always like to talk to people after. It looks like it's about to hang up, but
Yeah.
go down and say bye. Well, I end it. Okay, so sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna have to upgrade, and I didn't want to upgrade during the middle of the stream. Uh, but I'm gonna try to get him back on. I'm telling you, he has a lot of knowledge, a lot of great information. If you guys didn't know, he like I said, his links are down in the description of the video, and just check him out. I'm telling you, he has a lot of knowledge. He's been in the field, just like me, and we're most likely willing to help you, get into the field. So shout out to everybody that came through. I definitely appreciate everybody. Shout out to all the super chats, anybody that donated to the channel as well. Shout out to all the mods, shout out to everybody, that's with the Keep It Techie fam, man. So I hope you guys have a good day and keep it techie.